Okay, let's talk a minute about the different types of listening we can do, from jumping to conclusions to active listening. Tanisha, jumping to conclusions. Do you ever do that?
Yes, I do.
Right? It's easy to do, isn't it?
It's so easy to do.
Why do we do it?
Why do we do? Well, personally, I think that it's just because I guess it's a form of not listening, because if you're assuming something before, yeah.
I already know. I bet you do it with your husband all the time.
I
Right?
do.
Oh, yeah. Familiarity breeds contempt, doesn't it?
Right, so you're kind of like, okay, I know what's going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Star, what about competitive or combative listening? Which is,
I think I do it. I guess it's, you're not being heard, so you want to get your
right.
POV across.
Right.
So,
Your point of view.
yes.
Yes, this must be text and talk, right? Are you going to text talk to me now? What about selective listening?
Yeah, I mean, also can talk about myself that sometimes it's really being not respectful, for the person, or again assuming, what she will tell me I know for sure. Why do I need to listen?
Or it's going to be a painful conversation, so one way to cope with it is what? To tune in and out.
Yeah.
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 Allison, passive listening.
When they don't participate in a conversation, or they disagree, or they pretend to agree and compromise.
Do you ever see passive listening in team meetings? How can you tell someone's passively listening?
They always shake their head.
Yeah, and they don't say
Yeah.
anything.
They're cleaning the counter and doing other stuff that's saying they're paying attention.
Exactly.
Yes.
Though not necessarily. I know one teacher who's supposed to do something in order to listen and to concentrate.
That's
it's-
the exception to the rule.
This
though.
is exception, but
True.
that's what she's doing. She has to do something, and then she is really engaged in conversation.
Yeah, but that's kind of like knowing your children in your classroom. You know there's going to be certain teachers on certain teams that can do that, and there's others that do it just like you said because they want to avoid it.
What about relative listening, which is an interesting one, which is they have to relate it to something else in order for it to be real.
I've been guilty of that. I mean, I've looked at some of my past experiences when somebody's telling me something, and in some ways it's helpful when you're listening to someone talk about a certain problem or something that's going on, because you can relate it to something that you dealt with, and either you were successful with that or you weren't. And so, especially if you weren't successful with it, then you can say, well, this is what happened to me, and I chose to go this path with it, and I failed miserably. So if you can learn from my experience, great. But for you, you have to make that decision on your own. So I mean, I've done that.
Rehearsing, I don't think, they say it's a form of listening. I think it's a form of not listening.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't be listening if you're rehearsing, can you?
No. I know I can't. If someone's talking to me and I'm already formulating my opinion in my head, then that's really
Then you
not.
don't listen.
No, I'm not listening, and I'm getting ready to cram it back down your throat, and that's not good either. And I've seen that take place a lot in team meetings,
Yeah.
where people have their own agendas on certain things, and they're just
Not in the moment.
no, not
Right.
at all.
And then, of course, active listening, which is, obviously the one that is most appropriate, which is being genuinely interested in what the other person is expressing and listening, fully listening to the verbal and nonverbal communications that are occurring. So think about that when you're in a meeting next time. Which listening skills are being employed in the room? Talk about it. Right? Talk about it. Okay.
It's not easy when you think about it. When you're listening to somebody, you have to take into so many things. It's not just listening to what's coming out of their mouth. You really need to watch their body language too, because sometimes it's not congruent. Somebody can be talking, but if they're shifting or they're doing something else with their body, look at that too, because that actually can give you more feedback into what's really going on.